Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB, your sports guy, being joined by two of my good friends. Y'all know both of them if you watch the show. I got Mr. VK Jones, the one you can catch on Crescent City Sports, and Max Preps. VK, what's going on?
Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing? We'd like to thank everybody who's joining us tonight all over the state of Louisiana, not just in the New Orleans area. And it's good to be here. And shout out to my middle school, T.H. Harris. We ended our season tonight. The girls team really not too bad, but the boys did win. Might be possibly a postseason next week. We will see after tonight. But shout out to them.
All right. And also being joined by my good friend, also, you can catch him on Crescent City Sports, the one and only George Peppers. What's going on, George?
What's up, Jared? Rashawn, how are we doing tonight? It's a brisk night in mid-November, but it's good to be with y'all again, ready to talk some football and whatever else entails, too.
Definitely. So I got to start the show off by apologizing to all of the fans. So I had an interview with Coach Hank Tierney, the head coach of the Archbishop Shaw Eagles football team. And when I got home, I was trying to upload it to this system that I use to do our show. And it uploaded, but it never went through. It never went through. I tried it again. It uploaded, but it didn't go through. So that's why I want to apologize. So the next best option was YouTube. It is uploaded on YouTube. I have posted it on Facebook also. So you can go to my page, Jared JB Boyd. You can catch it there. You can catch it on my YouTube page, JB Your Sports Guy. You can also, if you're part of any of the Archbishop Shaw Facebook pages, you can catch it there. So I have posted it on that if you want to go see it. Once again, I apologize. Can't control everything that has happened, but it was a backup plan, and it's on YouTube, and I want everybody to go see it and go watch it. So it's a great interview with Coach Hank Tierney. I actually enjoyed it, and I'm not going to say everything about the interview, but I'm going to say this. He's happy that he's back. He has enjoyed every minute of being back at Archbishop Shaw. He talked about his mentor, Joe Zimmerman, how much he means to him, how he was close to following Joe Zimmerman to De La Salle when Joe Zimmerman left Shaw to become the De La Salle head coach. He said he was close to leaving him until they offered him the Shaw coaching, the Shaw head coaching job. He also came to Shaw to coach basketball. He didn't go to Shaw to coach football. That was a shocker in itself also. So I'm not going to get into everything, but, Coach Hank Tierney is a legend in himself. And everybody, like I said, go to my YouTube page, JB Your Sports Guy. My Facebook page is posted, Jared JB Boyd. And then if you're part of any of the Archbishop Shaw Facebook pages, you can go on there, Eagle Gridiron, Shaw Football. It is posted on there. VK, you got anything you want to say about Coach Hank Tierney?
Well, I just wanted to ask you this, Jared. Like, I didn't know about the basketball thing myself, but did you ask him what made him stick to being the football coach and sticking to football instead of coaching basketball?
Well, this is what he said. He said so he went there to coach basketball, but he said back in those days when you coach one sport, you coach them all. So he said he had a part in coaching baseball, football, and basketball. It just so happened Joe Zimmerman took him under his wing and pretty much taught him a lot that he knew. And he also served as the defensive coordinator for Joe Zimmerman for many years before he got the head coaching job. So he was coaching 3 sports. So I found that pretty ironic.
So you coach football, basketball, and what other sport?
Baseball.
Baseball. Wow.
Baseball. George Peppers, anything you want to say about Coach Hank Tierney before we move on?
He's an icon. I mean, he's one of the great coaches in prep sports in Louisiana. Wish him the best in these playoffs going forward. They get interesting Livingston game Friday night. But Hank is one of my favorite people. It's not just that he's a great coach. He's one of my favorite people because he's so personable. And a quick story: last year we were in the Superdome for the 5A final. Myself and Rashawn were on the sideline. We went and talked to Hank before the game. And some coaches are not approachable in a spot like that, but Hank took the time to holler at us and say hello, and even actually remember my youngest brother, who was a Shaw grad, class of 2003. And I found that to be just simply cool as can be. And I wish Hank and the Shaw Eagles the best luck. And you guys have a tailgate Friday, correct? At Shaw. I think y'all have like a Jubilee or something like that.
So we have a tailgate block party. You have to have a parking pass to park there to go to the tailgate block party or the football game. But yes, DJ Jubilee will be performing at the tailgate block party on Shaw's campus, right in front of the football stadium, on side of the basketball gym. So yeah, this is big.
Mm, that's something else there. But for Hank, I'll tell you one thing. It's good that he is back, and how long we don't know, but at the same time, he has been a great legend to the game, and I could definitely say the job he's done this year, probably one of his best jobs he's maybe ever done. And then on top of that, he's definitely a candidate for football coach of the year this year.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt, candidate for that. But yeah, great job this year from Coach Tierney, and he gave so much credit to his coaching staff. So much credit. He said it's not all him. He said this coaching staff he believes is one of the best coaching staffs he's ever had and one of the best in the state. And he praised each and every one of his members. I'm not gonna name them, but every one of them, he praised them. He praised them all, and he's very highly confident in his coaching staff. So it was a great interview. Totally enjoyed it. And like I said, my YouTube page and all that good stuff, Facebook, you can catch the interview. But right now,
And that was the unadulterated version of the Shaw Eagles part of the show, brought to you by Jared JB Boyd. And all the views and opinions by Jared JB Boyd is not part of the Hash It Out show is prohibited. Next.
Yes, indeed.
I know, right, George? Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
All right,
Shameful.
guys. Let's get into Division I select football bracket. I'm going to put it on the screen. There it is. Let's get started, ladies and gents. We're going to start with number 17, Captain Shreve, who defeated Tioga last week. They're coming to New Orleans, Pan American Stadium, to take on the Warren Eastern Eagles. VK, who you got?
See, I wish we can. I'm going to definitely pick, but I wish we can start Division 4 and go to 1, and to make people get a little more excited when we get to the nitty gritty. But
Well,
if you want,
I'll tell you what, we'll do that on the next show. The next show, I'll start from 4. I got
cool,
you. All right.
cool. You see what I'm talking about? All right. Warren Easton, they have woken up since they lost to Call Big. They've been in some games and everything. The thing about Easton is this: they have not really played a full quarter game yet this year, and they're gonna have to do that if they're gonna get back to the Superdome.
Mm-hmm.
So Captain Shreve, good program that has been really coming up, been getting over the hump and everything. But Easton's gonna be too powerful, too much Fright Night Fred, and too much Easton, too much their defense. It's gonna be just too much for Captain Shreve to handle.
Go ahead, George.
I think the long road trip's going to do Captain Shreve in. Look, they did well to knock off Tioga last week. Tioga, a team I covered while living up in Sinla for years that I was up there. But that team has no shot. Warren Easton, as VK said, they really haven't put together a complete four-quarter game. I mean, yes, they've blown people out, but even in blowouts, you relax, you know. But I'm looking at this potential quarterfinal that Warren Easton could be in. That
Mm-hmm.
that's a Titanic clash, either or, whether it be the Wrecking Rams of Acadiana or Karen Crow. But I'm gonna pick Warren Easton, and I think they'll win this game fairly comfortably. I don't think Captain Shreve can keep up with Warren Easton's speed. I think the Eagles are too fast and too good. They'll win this game going away.
I agree with both of y'all. So I don't have to say anything else.
There you go.
Warren Easton.
Yeah.
Warren Easton with the win. All right, guys. We have a rematch. Acadiana going back to Karen Crow. Acadiana lost to Karen Crow by 1 point, 21-20 earlier in the year. VK, who you got?
And you said Acadiana got the victory, right?
No, Karen Crow
Karen Crow got the victory.
by 1.
Well,
Yes.
and they got to go back to the Crow Down.
Yep.
Man, I think it's going to be a very, very close game. But I think the Wrecking Rams usually is successful in rematches. I like Acadiana to get it done in a close game. I see Wrecking Rams by a field goal over the Crow Bears.
All right, my main man, George Peppers.
Brother, I'm going to say this. I mean, it's hard to beat the same team twice. And if you could do that to Acadiana, if you can beat Acadiana 2 times, you've got something if you Karen Crow. And the game is back at the Crow Dome. It's a tough place to play. But Acadiana's been here, done that. I don't know if this is one of their better elite teams. This is a pretty good team. I think this is, as VK said, I agree. It's a close game. I'm going to go with the home team, though. I think Karen Crow pulls it out late. They pulled it out late in the first game, 21-20, as you mentioned, Jared. But I'm going to go with them. I'm going to take Karen Crow.
I think Acadiana woke up when they played Barb in the last game of the regular season. I believe they were down 31-14 and came back and won 34-31. I think they woke up. Like I said before, I've seen the Karen Crow team be 6-4 in the regular season, and then come playoff time, they're a different team. You saw what they did to Riverdale, 70-0. I think Acadiana goes back to the Crow Dome, and they are walking out victorious, setting up a big-time matchup against Warren Easton. I have Acadiana. All right. Northwood Shreve hosting 12 seed St. Paul. St. Paul defeated Holy Cross 24-21. VK.
This one's going to be interesting in itself. This is not St. Paul's this is not one of St. Paul's strongest teams, but they're a resilient team. They're a resilient bunch that bounces back. But I think Northwood Shreveport is going to get it done. But they're going to get it done. I think they get the win over St. Paul's in a close one.
George Peppers.
There's an old theory that we use in prep sports, and that's the teams that come out of the most competitive districts usually profit and do well in the playoffs. St. Paul's comes out of a very, very good North Shore district. There's a handful of teams still in the fight. That being said, this is a pretty long road trip they got to make. I have not seen of Northwood Shreveport, but I do read, message boards and people who go to their games. They have touted this team pretty high. Not knowing what I haven't seen, I know St. Paul's, and like VK said, I'm with them that they're not. This is not one of their elite outfits, but it's still a team that's going to strap it up, lace it up, and play you for 48 minutes. That being said, I think I'm going to lean towards the home side here, Northwood Shreveport, in a close one. I think ultimately the road trip will do St. Paul's in. I'm going to take Northwood Shreveport close.
I'm taking Northwood Shreveport by 14. I think too much firepower for St. Paul's to deal with. I got Northwood Shreve. All right. So on this next one, we about to let VK just air it out. It's a rematch from 2 weeks ago. 13 seed Brother Martin taking on the 4 seed St. Augustine. St. Augustine won the earlier matchup 14-13. Brother Martin was down 20-0 to Woodlawn of Baton Rouge and came back and won 45-20. Coach Bonice has said all year the offense which wasn't clicking. Did the offense for Brother Martin start clicking last week all of a sudden? and is St. Augustine in trouble? VK, all yours, man.
Well, well, I guess this is the St. Aug part of the show now. Thank you very much. I tell you one thing. This matchup scares me a lot because it's hard to beat a team twice in one season. And they were many a times, and I can say in the last, we're in 2022 now, in the last 20 something years, in most sports, Brother Martin has been the spoiler. You name the sport, they've been the spoilers to the Purple Knights. So in this ball game here, I think it's going to be really, really close. St. Aug cannot, and I repeat, cannot let Brother Martin stay in this game. If I'm the Purple Knights, they need to dominate this game. They need to play 4 quarters and dominate against Brother Martin to get the win. I think it'll be close, but I think St. Aug some way, somehow will have a better second half and they'll pull away to get the win. But it's gonna be close. But I think St. Aug will pull away. But they're gonna have to dominate to try to get by Brother Martin. They cannot. If they're gonna jump on them quick, and do what you can to put them away. Because if you don't, Brother Martin's gonna just keep hanging and hanging, and they might find a way to knock him off.
Let me ask you a question right quick before I go to George. Is Amari Cooper going to start this game, or is number one, I can't think of his name,
Dawson Simmons.
Dawson Simmons?
And
Is Dawson Simmons going to start?
Here's the thing. I think you do still start with Amari Cooper, but we talked about this, Jared, and I talked to a couple people about the Dawson Simmons situation. We're thinking maybe you could just put him in there little by little in the playoffs, maybe close to the semis. If you get to the championship game against Carr, if Carr gets there, maybe that'll be the time you really put him in.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, this is the time you do it. I think you start Amari to start it off, but then couple series or two, put in Dawson Simmons a little bit, but mix him up in a wide receiver a bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then put him at the quarterback position and let him rip it. And I'm talking about we know what he can do with his legs.
Yeah.
Let's see what he can do with his arm, and he can throw the ball. So that'll be a different element. And I think this is a good time for the Purple Knights to do it, especially against Brother Martin, especially the way that Brother Martin defense kept them in that ball game against St. Aug a couple weeks ago.
George Peppers.
I've looked at this matchup, and I think it's one of the more underrated matchups we're going to see this week. You know, rematches are always tough on the team that wins the first time, and that was the Purple Knights 14-13 a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, Brother Martin's not going to start like they did at Woodlawn last week, down 20. I don't think there's a chance that's happening. Woodlawn comes out of a good Baton Rouge district, and they jumped the Crusaders. Did the Crusaders find an identity, or did Woodlawn just? I don't know what happened, but it looked like Brother Martin avalanched him after being down 20. In this game, though, I think we're looking at it. There wasn't much in between them the first time. But, I've been back and forth flipping coins, but I'm gonna go with the team that I think has the better athletes. You named them, BK, Amari Cooper and Dawson Simmons, and they got other guys on some dogs on that roster too. I'm gonna take the Purple Knights by a touchdown over Brother Martin, but this should be a very entertaining game.
Okay.
And then if the Purple Knights get it done, they will not have to travel the next week. They will 9 times out of 10 they will probably host either Northwood, Shreveport, or possibly the only time they might travel if they might have if St. Paul's pull off the win. If St. Paul's pull off the win, then I think St. Aug will have to go to Covington to take on St. Paul's. But I really think, if Northwood Shreveport holds on to win and St. Aug wins, Purple Knights will host for the state quarterfinals.
I think St. Aug will host either one because St. Paul's hosted already. Norwood Street hosting their first one, and St. Aug hosting their first one. So I think St. Aug, with all of them hosting one, St. Aug is going to host the next round. So I think you got no matter what. Okay. Number 19 seed Jesuit went up to Huntington and won 45-9, which I said they would do. Now it's against Big Bad John Curtis Christian School. VK.
Man, I think Jesuit is really gonna give Curtis a time. It should be a very, very close game. Ryan Manal is gonna have them ready and prepared. Jesuit has had the upper hand recently on Curtis, except for this season. And Curtis, got Jesuit in a close one this year. But this time, I think Taylor's going to be flipped a little bit. Jesuit is really going to give him a time, but I really think John Curtis will pull it out in the end. I think John Curtis by a touchdown.
Okay. George Peppers.
Good coaching matchup with J.T. Curtis, the dean, and Ryan Manali, who there's going to be a state championship with his name on it. It's not this one. I think John Curtis wins this, and I think Curtis learned from the first game, and I think Jesuit has played white hot football here in the last month and a half. I think it stops here, though. I think the Patriots are too much. I think John Curtis wins by double figures.
Yeah, I agree. I think Curtis wins by double figures. I don't see Jesuit hanging in there coming the second half. I got the Curtis. Hold on. Yeah, John Curtis Patriots. I got them. I got them also. All right.
Where my Curtis dogs at, man? That's not right, Jerry.
I know. I'm sorry. All right. Number 22, Alexandria. Not taking a long ride to take on CE Bird. I'm going to go first. I'm going with another upset. I'm going with Alexandria to go to Bird and get the job done. Alexandria, part of a tough district with Ruston, West Monroe, Washington Parish, and Alexandria went to McKinley and beat them 42-0. I'm going Alexandria again. Go ahead, VK.
Well, I was dead wrong about Alexandria last week. And I mean, what a year McKinley has had this year. But, I was really wrong about Alexandria. They really proved themselves. And Jared, I gotta agree with you. Alexandria, I think they're starting to wake up at the right time. They've been an up and down team all year, but I think Alexandria has found their stride. I think in Seabird, they're usually a team that makes it in the playoffs pretty deep. And I know last season they was very fortunate on some things, very fortunate on some breaks. But I think Alexandria is going to pull off the upset over Bird.
All right. George Peppers.
I covered this Alexandria team again. They are a very wide open football team. They like to throw. They are very, very fast on tempo. Bird comes from up north, the Shreveport area, and how many wide open teams do you know from up there? Teams that play that fast tempo kind of offense. I don't know. Bird's got a very nice team. There's a guy on Louisiana Sportsline that does things for Bird, and he's touted him up pretty good. But Alexandria, as VK mentioned, they look like they're starting to play their best ball. Again, they come out of a ridiculously hard district with West Monroe and the anointed, soon-to-be state champion Ruston Bearcats, according to VK Jones. I'm sorry, I had to throw it out there.
I said they get to the dome. I didn't.
But dude, they got a tough task at hand in their game, and we'll see. Just don't let Wichita Bears beat them, because somebody gonna get hashed out pretty bad next week. And it ain't me. But in this game, Jared, look, I was gonna pick Alexandria. I still am. I think the Trojans go to CE Bird and get the win. It's gonna be a close game, though. I think it's a contrast in styles. I believe the Trojans are a better team, are hitting their stride at the right time. Bird having the bye week freshens up. But I'm going to take Alexandria. I think This is a doable game for them.
Okay. Another rematch. 7-seed Carr take it on number 10, Scotlandville. I'm gonna go first. I don't think it'll be 40-7 again, but I think it'll be 35-7 in the car. VK.
I gotta agree with you on that, Jared, and I'm gonna go with the same score. I think it's gonna be in the car. And the big thing is, and I want to ask you this before we go to George. How is the status of Mr. Samuel going into Friday's game?
Good to go.
Hey,
He's good to go.
That's great news. Great news.
Yep.
Yep.
Go ahead, George.
I don't see how this is close. I don't think Scotlandville's done anything to tell me that they're going to give Carr more of a push. And remember, Edna Carr's season's supposed to have a 1 next to their seed, not 7.
Right.
There's a message that's going to be sent. They've had the bye week to lick wounds, heal up, get AJ back right. And as you mentioned, Jared, he's good to go. I think Carr can hang 50 and absolutely obliterate Scotlandville. Look, Scotlandville's done well to get here, but this is Edna Carr's time. We've said it for a couple of months now that this is the best team in Louisiana, regardless of class. Carr's going to hang 50 and win exceedingly easy.
All right. Moving to the next one. Archbishop Rummel to take on Catholic of Baton Rouge. Look, I saw Rummel play twice this year. It's not the Rummel that we've been accustomed to for the past couple years. But Catholic of Baton Rouge is still the team we've been accustomed to for the past 6-7 years. To meeting the best wide receiver in the state, Shelton Sampson. He's going to be covered by Ashton Stamps, so that's a tough matchup right there. But Catholic of Baton Rouge still has too many weapons. I got Catholic of Baton Rouge at least by 24. VK.
The over-under on this one is 24. Take the over on this one, and it's Catholic. Catholic big over Rummel. Rummel they've been trying to get better and better at the end of the season. A huge win against John Ehret, but at the same time, I think it'll be close early. Expect Rummel to really play hard, but then once things settle down, Catholic of Baton Rouge is going to really turn things up, and they'll get it done.
George Peppers.
Oh boy, to talk about this game hurts my heart because Rummel beating Ehret last week. Look, before last week, I would have told you that either one of the winners would probably go down this week. Had Ehret won last week, they probably would lose at Catholic. Rummel was the fortunate soul to get this trip, and the Simmons Stamps match notwithstanding, I think Catholic's got too many alpha dogs on that roster, and what a quarterfinal that could be next week at the Carr and Baton Rouge Catholic.
That should be our state championship.
Could be. Should be.
Should have
been. Should have been, but of course, we know why.
Yeah.
I think Rummel, Nick Monica is going to, this team does not taken that step forward from last year. Even in last week's game, Royal Falco lit them up last week, but it was some blundering decisions, some questionable decisions on the part of John Ehret. 4th and 1 at your own 18, and you're going for it. And immediately on the next play, they get a score and they go in front of you. That's the difference in the game. Sour grapes, whatever it may be, will be. But Baton Rouge Catholic's going to win this game. I'll give you a score. I'll say 31-17 Catholic. I think Rummel doesn't disgrace themselves, but I think they hang around a little longer than Catholic wants to, and then the Bears realize they're better, and they pull away in the second half.
Gotcha, Mr. George Peppers. Now we're going to move to Division II Select. Let me get it up for y'all right quick. It's taking this nice slow time. I don't know why. Like I got all day to be waiting.
You're on GoPreps?
Yes, I'm on GoPreps, but for some reason on lhsaa.org, it's all like mixed up, and I can't get to the But GoPreps actually uses lhsaa.org brackets. So Give me a second. It's coming up. It's coming up. There it
Eventually.
is. Yeah. All right, I got it up. It'll be on the screen in a minute. Here we go. St. Thomas More taking on Helen Cox. Number 1 versus number 16. Helen Cox got the win last week over St. Michael, the Archangel. VK, what you got?
Well, Helen Cox, I mean, they really played a tough schedule and things are coming together for Emmanuel Powell and the squad. It would be unbelievable for Helen Cox to pull off this huge monumental upset, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think St. Thomas More will pull it off, but it will be a really, really close game. So I got St. Thomas More over Helen Cox.
George Peppers.
I don't think it's close. St. Thomas More is going to absolutely name their number. Emmanuel Powell's got a decent little thing going on at Helen Cox. Cox comes out of a pretty solid district. I just don't see where they find a way to stay in this game. St. Thomas More is going to make a statement, and they're going to do it against an up-and-comer like Helen Cox. I think St. Thomas More can name their margin.
Yeah, I don't see this being close either, George. I agree with you. I just think St. Thomas More it has too much for Helen Cox to handle. I mean, I just don't. I don't see it being close. No upset happening. VK, I disagree with you. No, you didn't say upset. You say STM, but I don't think it's close. St. Thomas More. St. Thomas More. All right. Now, number 9, St. Louis Catholic versus number 8, Madison Prep. VK.
Game is at Glen Oaks High School for Madison Prep because they usually would play over at Memorial, but Catholic is playing there Friday night. This game will be close early, but I'm not going to lie. Madison Prep is playing well at the right time. I'm going with Madison Prep over St. Louis Catholic.
George Peppers.
I'll take Madison Prep as well, and that sets up a pretty tantalizing quarterfinal with St. Thomas More next week if both seeds hold. Madison Prep's going to win this game. St. Louis has had a nice season. I think nice runs out here. Madison Prep wins this game.
I agree with both of y'all. Madison Prep. I think St. Louis hangs in tight and close in the first half, but come second half, that's it. Madison Prep runs up the scoreboard. All right. Number 5, John F. Kennedy taking on number 21, Archbishop Hannon with the victory over Kenner Discovery last week. VK.
Well, I'll give a breakdown of the game because of the fact that
You can't call it.
I'm actually calling the game tomorrow. This game will be the Southeast Louisiana Game of the Week on Max Preps. I do have the link. I will put the link up after we get out the show. And I've been advertising this as earlier today. Myself and also Jamal Greenberry will have the call tomorrow. We'll go on a pregame about 6:40. And we'll have Mr. Boyd as the special guest on the pregame and the halftime of tomorrow's game. But the breakdown is like this. Kennedy on a big stage here. This is a big stage for them, and the lights are bright. The thing is, they got to really step up here. They got to play 4 quarters of football, very consistent, and be very aggressive, and be aggressive from the jump, especially both ways. Hannon, they had to play a very, very tough schedule. Don't let the 4-7 fool you. They're a team that's going to be ready to play, and they have a very good pedigree in their playoffs and everything else. I really think it's going to be close early, but Kennedy is going to pull away big in the second half.
Okay, George Peppers.
Well, check out the.
Did we lose George?
I think we did.
Lost George. He'll be back. All right,
Yes.
I'll go. So I got John Kennedy. By at least 28. This Hannon team, they're gonna fight. They're not gonna quit, but it's just they. I'm gonna tell you this right quick. If they come out trying to play these guys in man-to-man coverage, they're in trouble. They're gonna have to play a zone because Chris Armstrong and the toys, they're pretty dangerous. So
And the weapons, yep.
yeah. Don't don't play any man to man. You got to play zone against these guys. Other than that, I still believe Kennedy gets to win by at least 28.
You said
All
Chris
right.
Armstrong. They call it Chris Armstrong and the Toys. How about we call them Chris Armstrong and Lethal Weapon 4?
Hey, I like that too. I like that too. I like that. All right. Evangel Kristen versus E.D. White. Who you got, VK?
Ooh, close game in this one. Man, this is kind of tough because Evangel really impressive last week against the Struma, and Evangel trying to get themselves back off the map. But I think Edie White's gonna be a little too much on Evangel. Got Edie White getting the job done.
All right, hold on. George Peppers is back.
Yes, sir.
George, go ahead. Who you have for Kennedy versus Hannon?
Kennedy, easy. They'll win big. I'd say in north of about 24 points will be the margin. Looking at this Evangel Edie White game, are we convinced that Evangel's back? I'm not. I mean, they obliterated Struma last week. Edie White, though, and Kyle Lassine has a good thing going down there. One of the more underrated coaches in Louisiana. Got his team to a state championship and lost close last
Yeah.
year. So, and he's got another nice outfit there. Um, and Evangel, look, they're not intimidated by the long trip. And yeah, Joe, I'm with you. That's why I'm going with the Cardinals. Their running game is what's going to carry them through, and the Cardinals are going to win. I'd say Edie White by 10.
Kyle Sang has really done a great job with the program, Edie White, and
Yep.
he's got another good one this year. I was more shocked at what they did against St. James in that last game of the season. Unbelievable. And he's got them going again. It's going to be interesting against Evangel on Friday.
I was going back and forth with these two teams for this game. Even went back and looked at schedules, man, and they both played a good schedule. Both have. And Denny Duran is back as the head coach at Evangel after being retired for quite some time. And it's like this, man. Can Edie White stop the passing game of Evangel? Can Evangel stop the dive run of Edie White? One has to give, but I'm going to go with Edie White in a very close ball game. I got Edie White. All right, bottom half of the bracket. De La Salle taking on Vanderbilt Catholic. Vanderbilt Catholic advanced due to a forfeit from Landry last week. De La Salle, PJ Martin, big. VK.
I agree. I definitely agree. Name the number, De La Salle, to me, probably one of the favorites to get to the dome.
George Peppers.
I've said this for a few months that I thought that the Steelers South team had the goods to win state. I still believe. Look, I'm a believer in defense, and Kedrick Richardson is maybe single-handedly one of the best players in the state of Louisiana. He's number 11 for De La Salle, and you're going to see a lot of them. Vanderbilt will. They're going to see a lot of them, and it's not going to be good. Cavaliers big, and look, I know they're on the same side as Shaw. Oh, I think they're on the same side as you guys and Shaw. Um,
Yeah.
so y'all going to see them somewhere in this playoff, probably a semi. But I don't see how De La Salle loses this game. And Vanderbilt, you should count your lucky stars how you got here. I mean, we know what happened. We don't have to disclose, but we know. Y'all should be fortunate as can be. Enjoy the trip into New Orleans. When you go home, make sure the bus is warmed up because it's supposed to be a chilly night. So, De La Salle big.
All right. Number 11, McDonough, 35. Going to number 6, Lafayette Kristen. VK.
Well, Lafayette Christian, hell of a program in a tougher district and everything else. And, I mean, one of the toughest districts in the state, the toughest district in the state, period. And they're at home. They're trying to bounce back. Trev Falk doing a great job with the program and stuff like that. We're down to 35. They haven't really played a full quarter game yet and everything else. But at the same time, I think this game is going to be close, closer than the experts think and everything. But you know what? I'm going out on a limb. I'm going with Donald 35 for the upset. McDonald 30. I know Lafayette Christian's really, really good. But let me tell you something. McDonald 35 has the most experienced team in the state of Louisiana. And they are a resilient team. They have came back from about 3-4 games and came back to win it in the last 2 minutes. They've been in a lot of close scenarios this year. I think Frank Daggs and the squad is going to go out there, and if this game is close, McDonald 35 has a chance to win it, and I think they're going to execute and get that upset.
George Peppers.
That's a tough place to play. Lafayette Christian. I've
No
heard,
doubt.
I've read what people have said about it. I've not been to a Lafayette Christian game, even when I was living up in Central Louisiana. With that said, I appreciate the candor, VK, but McDonald's 35 couldn't stop a passing gas in the wind. That's a defense that's left haggard. That's a haggard defense, and to play Lafayette Christian, you got to make stops, and your offense has to be on point early. I think LC gets the jump on them. And look, I love Frank Daggs. I love what he's done there. Having a obviously following the shoes of the late great Wayne Reese. You know, um, I don't see how the Red Eagles go into Lafayette and win this game. I think Lafayette Christian gets it done, and I think they get it done. I don't think they'll embarrass them or anything like that, but I do think they'll win the game, something along the lines of like 38-21 or something like that.
That could be doable and everything else, but the reason why I'm giving 35 and also a shot, 35's running game is really good. And if they go on some long drives, that is going to help 35 in this ball game to keep Lafayette Christian's offense off that field.
I got Lafayette Christian also. This is going to be a good ball game. I like the score George said, 38-7, 38-21. I just go back to that Carver game. How they had Carver dead to rights and let Carver come back and win.
Yep.
I just don't know
No,
if this
no, no,
35.
no. That was Easton.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That
Thank
was
you.
Easton. They had to come back to
Yeah,
Carver on a 4 down. That's what I mean by the resiliency, because it came down a 4 down play, which they got that, and then 2 plays later they threw a bomb
right.
and
And
got
when
the touchdown with 30 seconds to win it.
yeah,
But
right.
they had Easton dead, and Easton woke up again.
So had Easton dead to rights. Lafayette Christian Academy, in my opinion, is a better team than Carver. You gotta be able to finish the
Better,
good
you mean better
teams.
than Easton, right?
No, better than Carver. I'm comparing the victories.
Oh yeah. Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. Um, so when you got good teams dead to rights, you got to put them away. You can't let them rise from the dead and come back and beat you. And Lafayette Christian Academy is a better team than Carver, in my opinion. Santana Price gonna have his hands full. That defense gonna have their hands full also. I just don't see 35 figuring out a way to defeat Lafayette Christian Academy. I got LCA. All right. Archbishop Shaw hosting his first ever playoff game on campus ever. They're taking on the Livingston Wolves. VK, you can go first.
Of course, it goes to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick. No, I'm not gonna do that. No disrespect. No disrespect to those brothers out there over in Monroe, Louisiana. They've earned their spot. They've earned their opportunity. Their first ever home game ever in Joe Zimmerman Stadium on the campus of Archbishop Shaw. It's going to be a cold day out there in 30-degree temperatures. Expect this thing to be close early. I think Coach Francois is going to have Livingston ready, and they have very good athletes, very athletic. they'll give Shaw time. But when Shaw will settle down, it'll be all David Kinsey, Mike Williams. I think Shaw will pull away and get it done.
Go ahead, George.
Yeah, earlier this week, you and I had a couple of exchange messages, Jared, where I said, and I was spitballing, just joking around, because nobody will ever set a point spread in a high school game. And I threw it out there at you. I said, Shaw by 11, 11 and a half. And you said, is that it? That's kind of how I feel about this game. Shaw is on point right now. They're really starting to play their best football, and that's where you want to be coming into the playoffs. They had a week off, and I think they got an extremely favorable matchup. Livingston has had a terrific season. The lights are too bright. Shaw wins. I'm gonna throw another score out there. 41-13. Shaw, easy.
After speaking with Coach Hank today, Coach Hank says they're not going to overlook Livingston. They're not overlooking them. He said they've
Nope.
won 9 games. He said any team that wins 9 games is a good team. So they're taking them very seriously. And he says also that he wants the atmosphere to be great this upcoming Friday for the first playoff game. With that being said, I have the Shaw Eagles winning also. I have them winning by at least 17. I got the Shaw Eagles defeating the Livingston Wolves. All right, now moving on. The Carver Rams, who defeated Booker T. Washington last week, had to come back in the fourth quarter to beat Booker T. Washington. They're also going to Lafayette to take on Turling's Catholic. VK, who you got?
Well,
Before you go, my main man David DK Kinsey, he says Shaw hasn't even peaked yet. Woo!
hey, I tell you one thing. I can agree with David DK Kinsey on this one, and I think Dave, you hit it on the mark. You're absolutely right. I think Shaw, that it's scary that they haven't met their peak yet. So you're absolutely right about that.
All right, so who you got for Carver and Turling's Catholic?
Oh, okay. Well, big ups going to George Washington Carver and Coach Byron Addison doing a great job with the program, young team, and everything else. This is going to be a tough road trip. I think they'll be ready to play. I think they'll be ready to go. Don't be surprised. They might strike Turlings early, but then Turlings Catholic is just going to handle business from there. Turlings Catholic, they're one of the teams that could crack the code to get to the dome. They are a really good program. Turlings Catholic, big over Carver.
George Peppers.
I don't see Turlings losing this game. Carver, yeah, I agree with VK. Piggybacking off what he said about Byron Addison, he's done a pretty good job there with the Rams, and they're playoff relevant. But they drew the short straw here. Turlings Catholic is going to be way too much. They're way too big and actually have a little bit of speed to them. But boy, if Turlings and Shaw win, that sets up a very interesting quarterfinal that would be at Turlings.
Yeah.
So, I think Turlings gets it done, and I think they'll do it in emphatic fashion. Carver's had a decent year, good year. Too much Turlings.
I hope you got your vacation days or whatever days together, especially if Shaw and Turlings win this week. You know what I'm saying? Because we talked about that before, Jared, about a potential scenario on that.
Lafayette's a 2-hour drive. Turling is right off of I-10. That's nothing. It's nothing. But I want to say thank you first to my aunt Julie Guillory, giving us some props,
Oh,
experts. So I want to say thank you. But I see Carver hanging around for the first quarter, and that's it. I think I'm with George with what he said. It's just too much for him. There's a size disparity. They're bigger than Carver. Yeah, I got Turner's Catholic. David Kinsey rooting for the upset. Rooting for the upset, and then we got to go to Joe Brown Stadium the week after. David Kinsey, we go to Joe Brown if we win and Carver wins.
Well, you look. Well, you look
No,
at
we don't. No, we don't. We'll be at home because they hosted the game. We'll be at home. That'd be nice.
Yep.
So the thing is, everybody's rooting for this, that, and the third. Like Joe Dillon was saying on the comments, he said one of the New Orleans teams is going to surprise the Lafayette teams. It could happen. It could happen. One of them is going to get it done. One of them is going to get it done out there. But like I told Matt Brown, and big shout out to him, the one of the defensive coaches at Helen Cox, former Purple Knight. I told him, strap your helmet on, strap it on, because you're going against the toughest district in the state of Louisiana right now. Strap it on and see what happens. So it's going to be interesting itself to see what happens there. It's gonna be interesting. I like, some people going. Hopefully, Carver wins. Some people hoping that 35 pulls it off, or they're hoping all these teams try to pull it. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens out there in the Lafayette area next week. It'll be something if you see a whole bunch of things shaking down, But my scenario is just hopefully to happen coming up next week if everything matches up to be matching up, because that will have my premonition come through in a couple weeks. And I want it to happen. And I'm talking about Madison Prep. Take care of your business. Take care of your business. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. Moving on to Division 3 Select. Number 1 seed, Newman, taking on Sophie B. Wright. Newman. I'm not even getting the details of this, but you can, VK, if you want to.
Well, I definitely can, and a big shout out going to Kenny Dorsey Jr., who actually had to take over at St. Augusta for a little bit before he left out of there. Doing a great job with Sophie B. Wright, and great victory last week against D.R. Bond Woods. And I mean, it was a great resilient victory for them. And I'll tell you one thing, I got Newman winning closer than the experts think. The reason why Newman did beat Sophie B in a jamboree, but by a point. Sophie B. Wright's gonna be ready to go. They're gonna be ready, and I'm telling you now, it's gonna be closer than the experts think. I'm saying that because I'm telling you, what they say is hard to beat a team twice. I'm saying I'm not gonna be saying no 50-point or whatever. You can call it what you want. Newman will win, but they will have to pull. They're gonna pull away in that fourth quarter to win by at least by 2 touchdowns, maybe 3.
Hold on 1 second. All right, cool. All right, George Peppers, what you got?
I do have a question. Is
Go
there a
ahead.
woodshed at Lupin Field?
Is there a
Because Sophie
woodshed?
B. Wright's got a woodshed. You know the
Yeah.
old saying, "Well, they'll take you to the woodshed, they'll beat the
Yes.
you know what out of you."
Yep.
Well, I got, dude, VK, you're comparing the jamboree to a playoff game. The one thing I will say in defense of Sophie, in a lukewarm defense of Sophie B. Wright, burden of expectations. Newman is the top dog in class Division 3, excuse me, select. With that comes expectations, and Arch Manning having to hear, well, if he doesn't make it to the dome, it's another Manning that fell off. If Peyton and Eli couldn't get there, what makes Arch different? You think Newman hasn't heard this all year long? Now the playoffs are here. Nelson Stewart, it's about doggone time that man finds his way to the Superdome and play for a state championship. He's done too much at Newman not to at least get there. I don't think Sophie B. Wright puts up any kind of resistance. I think Newman wins this game. Arch Manning has more of a pedestrian game than you think, and Newman's going to find other ways to make things happen. I think their defense is what's going to channel this blowout. Newman big.
And I get it, and I get it. My thing is this, and I'm just saying that because I'm giving Sophie B respect because we have disrespected them all season long.
Who has?
We have. We've been giving them disrespect all year on picks.
No, sir.
Wait. Hold time. We're not disrespecting them on picks. We just picking who we think going to win.
We
haven't
are.
said nothing bad.
No, we haven't said.
Anybody.
Listen to me. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. No, this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying we said anything bad about Sophie B. We didn't. We know some people that
Then
said
what are you
something
saying?
bad. No. Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. Look, I'm saying we didn't totally disrespect them. We're saying that they have proven us wrong, and at the same time, which I'm giving them their props more than anything else. And then on top of that, respecting what their abilities are and everything, especially what I seen last week in that playoff game. It took a lot of character for getting it done. Then on top of that, showing that the improvements they have made this year.
Don't say we disrespected them because I'm like we didn't. Just say they proved us wrong.
Let me rephrase that. They proved us wrong.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, I don't. We like I said, there were some people. Now I'm gonna say this: there were some people that was disrespectful to them, which wasn't really too cool about it. But I just loved it how they just have bounced back and has proven people that when trying to call them Sophie be wrong. So it's just huge for them to prove that who they are as a school and who they are as a program. So that's why I'm saying it could be closer to the next best thing because they'll be prepared. But you guys might be right because Newman might really beat them down. But I'm just gonna give Sophie B their respect. That's all it is.
All right. ULAB hosting Metairie Park Country Day. Hey, Coach Cheddar is our new favorite coach, man. That's our new favorite coach, Coach Cheddar.
Correct.
Yeah, the Jack Swing at running back. Jack Swing didn't play last week due to an injury, but he will be back this week. But I think this is the last time we're going to talk about Coach Cheddar and Jack Swing. I think ULAB beat some too much talent, too many athletes on that ULAB side. ULAB wins, VK.
Jack Swing, better known as the new Jack Swing. The new Jack Swing I'm telling you, he's gonna be the new Jack Swing gonna be rolling. Expect him to have a big game, but it's not gonna be enough. Not gonna be enough. ULAB, they'll get the dub. ULAB, they're gonna pull away. They'll get it done. Country Day will have a good start. Jack Swing will have a great game. The new Jack Swing ain't gonna be enough for that swing.
George Peppers.
Coach Cheddar, we love you, dude. Pass it out. You got 3 huge fans of you. Just saying.
We get him on the show next year. He's on the show next year for real.
No, we might have him for the dome. We might have him for the dome guest, maybe. Coach Cheddar be on standby.
Yeah.
That's correct. But as far as this game, I'm with Jared. Look, Jack Swain is a monster. But if that's all you got, and I'm not saying that really is, ULab's going to run some thoroughbreds at you. And there's just going to be too much. And that sets up a pretty scintillating quarterfinal with Isidore Newman. That game would be at Lupin next week if those two win. I think University Lab's going to get it done. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that ULab Newman game next week if those seeds hold. Cubs win. It ain't the baseball Cubs that lost this year. It's these Cubs, and they're going to win.
All right.
Oh man, the poor Chicago Cubs fans, man.
I know.
Yeah. All right, guys. Number 5, Calvary Baptist hosted number 12, North Lake Christian. North Lake Christian with a big win over Homer Christian last week. But I think North Lake Christian is running into a dead wall, a dead end, a brick wall is what I meant to say. Too much Calvary Baptist for North Lake Christian as they take this trip to Shreveport. I have Calvary Baptist, VK.
Well, North Lake Christian, hell of a good program. Now they're running into a ball saw killing called Calvary Baptist, and it's not going to be even. This is one of the few games I can say definitely This is not going to be even close. Name your number, Calvary Baptist.
Long road trip. Long road trip versus elite offense equals doom. Calvary Baptist wins this game going away. Look, the Wolverines have had a fine season as punctuated with that emphatic first round win last week against an upstart, though. But they're running into a bigger dog than Oma Christian, and it's not going to be pretty. It'll be the ugly duckling part two. Calvary wins going away.
So you said they're going to what? Doom?
The Legion of Doom. Calvary Baptist is the Legion of Doom, like the old Road Warriors. I don't see the Cavaliers losing this game. And a quick update, the Pelicans have finished off the Bulls 124-110. Second of a back-to-back. They win tonight. So, good ups.
Props to the Pelicans. Now,
all right.
Bird Gang.
Back to high school. ML King Charter. A big victory over Thomas Jefferson, 40-7. No, 47-0 last week. They have the rematch with Dunham from earlier in the year. I'm going to go first. Dunham beat them pretty bad early in the year. I don't think they beat them as bad as they did when they matched up the first time, but I still got Dunham pretty big over MLK Charter. I got Dunham, DK.
The Fighting Joe Rileys, man. I just gotta love what Joe Riley's doing with that program. You know, MLK, good athletes, special for a small school and a 2-8 school. I mean, I love what they're doing, man. But it's gonna be so tough winning at Dunham. So tough. It's gonna be close, but Dunham, I agree with Jared. They're gonna pull away. Dunham's gonna pull away and get it done. You know, I would love to fight with my boy Joe Riley, but not this week, man. Not this week. Sorry, bro. Wish you the best. I hope you prove us wrong. If you prove us wrong, who knows? We might have to bring you back for a show.
George Peppers.
Isn't it boring to pick the favorite in a high school game? I mean, it really is. But that said, look, Dunham beat these boys pretty emphatically the first time they played, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. This is the thing I'm going to bank on because I'm stepping out. I'm going to take the road team here. I know Dunham's a tough place, but I'm going to take Charter, and here's why. Maybe Dunham looked at that first game and maybe they get a little bit of overconfidence. Oh, we done crushed these boys before, but if ML King and Joe Riley come as prepared as I expect them to be, I think Charter's got a real opportunity. I'm going to take a shot. Got to take a shot somewhere. I'm going to take ML King Charter to pull the upset. I think they beat Dunham.
I hope they do. Don't get me wrong. I hope they do.
I hope they do too, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you're going out on a limb on it, man. But you know, we just hope we're proven wrong, and I hope Joe Riley gets it done. And he'll be one of the few repeat guests on our show because man, he's a great storyteller.
Yeah,
of his past and everything, and also great story with MLK of how they become a school and how they're making strides.
Definitely. All right, guys. In Crowley, number 3, Notre Dame hosting number 19, Lake Charles College Prep. I'm telling y'all now, this is going to be a close matchup. The schedules that both teams have played have been tougher than what the experts would think. Lake Charles College Prep, Notre Dame. Oh, man. Powerhouse Notre Dame, Lake Charles College Prep, trying to become that powerhouse, trying to become the Edna Carr of Southwest Louisiana. Oh, man. I'm going with the 19 seed Lake Charles College Prep in a close one, like by 3 points. This is going to be a good one. VK.
That was near and dear to your heart, my friend. I know it. I definitely know it. You know, it's pretty much. And if you understand Jared JB Board, he has family all over the state, and some of his family is out of that Lake Charles area. You know, not gonna reveal too much, but he loves Lake Charles through and through as much as he loves Marrero. and as much as he loves Hanville. You know what I'm saying? But
You meant West Wego, but it's okay.
then West Wego. Yeah. That's right. West Wego been good to me too. So I'm not
Yep.
gonna dump on it at all. You know, that was a good hiding spot for me. So I really like the area myself. Oh, and Wego Cafe is off the chain. I don't care what anybody say. But but this is gonna be a close game. You know, Coach. I believe it's Coach Franklin that's at Lake Charles College, bro.
Yeah, Coach Eric Franklin.
Eric
Yes.
Franklin, who's really done a great job with that program, up and coming and everything. Going against the legend,
Yeah.
Louis Cook, over at Notre Dame. Great guy in himself, very class. Still out there in the game. I don't know if this is last year or not, but he's been there for a long time, getting Notre Dame back on track. It's going to be a very close game, but I got to agree with you, Jared. I'm going to go with Lake Charles College Prep because of the playoff experience, and they're trying to get over the hump themselves, and especially bouncing back from high expectations. So I like Lake Charles College Prep. I'm with you, my brother.
All
I'm with
right.
you.
George Peppers, GP.
You mentioned this at the very beginning of this pick segment with these two. Both of them have played what I call suicide scheduling.
Yeah.
It's been absolute run of the mill. We got to bring it every week. How beat up are both teams? We don't know. As far as the physical toll of the schedule, I think. Look, Lake Charles College Prep, burden of expectation. They were supposed to be a little bit better than 19 this year. Here they are. But Notre Dame, the tried and true. They are a perennial power, but they've shown a little bit of leakage over the past few years. They haven't been that team. Is this that team this year? No, but I still think, and I believe this is going to be the airtight game, a very airtight and close game. I'm going to go with the Pioneers here in a close game. A field goal is the spread.
Okay. Loyola Prep, the 11th seed, going to take on the number 6 seed Episcopal. I don't know much about these two, but I'm going to go with Episcopal. VK.
You got Episcopal, Loyola Prep. Loyola Prep impressive last week, 61 points against St. Thomas Aquinas. Episcopal, very good program, an outstanding year for them. It's gonna be a close game. I'm gonna ride with Episcopal Baton Rouge, getting it done, and they'll head to the quarters.
George Peppers.
In seeds, it's a close game. On the field, though, I think Episcopal's too much. Episcopal gets it done. They can name the number.
All right. North Caddo hosting Parkview Baptist. VK.
Okay. North Caddo Parkview Baptist. Uh, mm, this is. I hate to say it. This is a crapshoot on this one. It's a crapshoot because you can't really say who both. This is an even matchup. Probably the most even match. This is another tough matchup to pick. North Caddo, a good program in itself. They're trying to really get something going in football and in basketball. Not North Caddo, the home of Robert Williams, the center for the Boston Celtics. So they're a very good program. I think they're really trying to put up football. But I like Parkview to get it done on the road. It's gonna be a long road trip, but Parkview trying to recover after the retirement of Chet. I believe it's I keep forgetting his name. He was the legendary coach at Parkview.
Kenny Giat.
Kenny Giat. That's it. Thank you, George. Kenny
Well,
Giat, who done a hell of a job at that Parkview program for a long time until he retired, and it's been a while since Parkview has been in this stage. So I think Parkview is going to get it done on the road. Tough one against North Caddo, but I like Parkview.
George Peppers.
I don't share the same optimism. Parkview struggled to get back into the mix. Here they are. North Caddo's got a really nice team. Again, reading the blogosphere and message boards and whatnot of people that actually go to games and cover games. Caddo's got a really good football team. Defensively, they're strong. They're gonna. It's the difference here. North Caddo wins it. I think the long road trip does Parkview in. North Caddo moves on to the state quarterfinals.
I am going the other way, George Peppers. I think Parkview Baptist, they're starting to find their stride, to be honest with you, in a tough district that has Madison Prep in it. I think Parkview Baptist gets the win over North Caddo and will be on the road next week when I pick the next game. So I got Parkview Baptist. All right, the next game, Ascension Episcopal going to St. Charles Catholic. I think it's just too much St. Charles Catholic for Ascension Episcopal. Altamont, the quarterback, will have a great game against Ascension Episcopal, and their defense is going to be very stout. I got St. Charles Catholic. VK.
Over under on this game is 48. Take the over on this one. St. Charles big.
George Peppers.
If the over under is 48, I'm betting with you under. They may win big, but that defense ain't going to give up many points. They held Newman in check. What did Newman get? 13, I think, when they beat him in the regular season.
I want to say 13. Yeah, 17 and
Something
13.
something like that. St. Charles, Wayne Stein, defending champions. They got the strap until somebody knocks them out. Who knows? Maybe they'll go on an 800-day run, like the tribal chief. I don't know. Just talking. But St. Charles should win this game handily. Ascension Episcopal's got a decent outfit, but this St. Charles team's way too much, Jared. They'll win for fun.
All right, guys, we're going to the last division for the night. Division 4 Select. Number 1 seed Vermilion Catholic taking on number 16 Cedar Creek. I got Vermilion Catholic. VK.
Too much Vermilion Catholic over Cedar Creek. I like Vermilion Catholic.
George Peppers.
I'm with you. I think Vermilion Catholic, another team that is perennially in the mix for a state championship, makes good runs. Cedar Creek, an upstart program from the Ruston area. Vermilion Catholic by a lot.
Right. Number 9 Southern Lab going to take on number 8 St. Frederick. I got Southern Lab. I think too many talented players. It's too much to handle for St. Frederick. Southern Lab. VK.
Pretty much the same. Southern Lab, the defending state champions, and I'm going with what George said. Did a chance until somebody take the strap off them. They got a chance to go 800 days like the tribal chief themselves. All I know, Southern Lab sending the message to acknowledge them. So I got Southern Lab.
George Peppers.
I look at this game, and Southern Lab's schedule was pretty robust this year as well. That byproduct is going to be enough. St. Frederick had a nice year. I don't really know much about them, but I do know about the Kittens. They are a very fast outfit and a very fundamentally sound outfit. They'll win this game. It won't be a blowout. I think it's competitive, but Southern Lab pulls it out.
St. Mary's hosting 12 seed Hanson Memorial. I got St. Mary's. VK.
St. Mary's big over Hanson. Not even close.
All right. George Peppers.
I did not get it, St. Mary's, by the way. Hanson Memorial, that ain't bop, is it? The song? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm being corny, but St. Mary's wins this game. They should handle business, and they probably will.
All right. 13, Delhi Charter taking on number 4, St. Martin's Episcopal. I think this is going to be a close game. But I think in the fourth quarter, Harlem Berry will not be able to be contained and stopped in the fourth quarter. I got St. Martin's Episcopal winning. VK.
Gotta say this. I agree with you, Jared. Everything you said, right on the mark. I got St. Martin's with them to win. That's gonna be too much Harlem Berry, and the Saints will get to the quarters.
George Peppers.
Doesn't this feel like a grinded out kind of game where a guy a stable running back is going to make the difference. And
Yep.
Harlan Berry is that. These Saints, but you know what scares me about St. Martin's? Delaware Charter is not a team to really look past
Right.
because
Right.
they've had some good runs. You know, they really asserted themselves well and pulled off some playoff appearances and wins. The thing is, St. Martin's has never been this high a seed in a playoff. I wonder if the expectations are a little much. That's a little concerning if I'm St. Martin's. But that being said, they've got the difference maker in this game. I feel like this is a grinded out kind of game. I think St. Martin's wins in the neighborhood of about 24-16, something like that.
Okay. Number 3 seed Washington Christian taking on 14 seed Sacred Heart. Who you got, VK?
Over under, take the over 35. Washington Christian big over Sacred Heart.
George Peppers.
Duck Dynasty U, that's what a Watchtower Christian is, right? The popular
Yes.
TV show from a few years back.
Yes.
That being said, Sacred Heart out of Ville Platte, they've been on the bounce back. They've had a couple of lean years, and here they are into the second round of the state playoffs, but the run stops. Watchtower Christian was in the dome last year against Southern Lab, and they got run slap over. I think they'll get it done here in convincing style.
I agree with George. I got Washington Christian convincingly. Big win. Big win.
Mm-hmm.
And here's Reggie out of nowhere. Brother Martin 35,
Oh, wow.
St. Aug 14.
I'll take 21. I'll take 21, Reggie. I'll take 21 points in St. Aug right here, right now. Name your number. Calling you out, big boy. Let's go.
Don't get scared now, Reggie. You stayed up for this. Why you ain't in
put
bed,
that,
buddy?
You put that final score, dude, my brother. If you believe that, there's a financial institution somewhere near you and me. We can name a number here.
Don't, Reggie, I'm like this. If you scared, say you scared. You forgot about the. I don't know if he forgot about that. Oh, you know. Oh, he don't bet. He don't bet now because of what happened years ago, like when St. Aug played Shaw in a basketball game. They still said that we cheated, and then all of a sudden he lost the bet, and it was a lunch bet at that. Can't bet no more, huh, buddy?
Let's move on.
Yeah, move on, bro. I'm sorry. That's what happened when you stay up late.
Yeah, let's move on. He honestly believes Brother Martin will win. Okay.
Well,
cool.
we understand. We respect your opinion.
Yeah, we do.
And Duck Dynasty is coming back for their 12th season.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not gonna underestimate Brother Martin. You would have caught the live early. If you'd have caught the live early, I said what I said. I am scared to death as a St. Aug Purple Knight that Brother Martin is playing him again. They're gonna have to.
He said St. Aug can't block Brother Martin. Okay, Reggie.
Well, okay, Reggie. Okay,
we'll see.
We'll see tomorrow. We'll see on Friday, buddy.
All right.
It'll be on Crescent City Sports if you miss it.
That
would be on. That's a Crescent City Sports game this week. So
there you go. Number 11, Catholic Point Coupe, taking on number 6, Glenbrook. For some reason, I'm feeling the 11th seed, Catholic Point Coupe. Who you got, VK?
I'm gonna let George go first on this one because he knows a little bit. I know a little bit about that program, Catholic Point Coupe, but George knows a little bit more about that. Let George go first on this one because I think you've got an interesting pick, George.
I'm gonna go with the underdog. I don't know nothing about Glenbrook. I don't know where they're located, who they've played. I do know Catholic Point Coupe, and seen them play a handful of times. I believe they're gonna get the job done. No disrespect to the 6th seed. I mean, it's great on them that they're hosting this game, and they've had the first round to kind of lick wounds or whatever or whatnot. But I'm gonna go like Jared. I'm gonna go with Catholic Point Coupe.
All right, VK.
I'm gonna agree with both of y'all. Catholic Point Coupe alone because of their playoff pedigree. It's gonna be a little too much for Glenbrook. I like Catholic Point Coupe as well.
Okay. The 7th seed, Riverside Academy, taking on number 10, Ascension Catholic. I'm going to go first. Have you heard of Elijah Davis, the running back for Riverside?
Yep.
He's about to have a field day against Ascension Catholic. They will not be able to stop him. I have Riverside. VK.
I agree with you on that. I like Elijah Davis. I like Riverside, and that's one of my dark horse teams that's gonna break through and get to the Superdome. I like Riverside over Ascension Catholic big.
George Peppers.
Okay, let's see. Ascension Catholic's got a nice football team. They're very good. 10 seed. Riverside. In a game like this, I need the team that's got that guy. That's gonna be the difference maker. Elijah Davis is that guy. I think the Rebels win this game. I'm gonna go 28-13.
All right. And to the last one of the day, number 15 seed, Opelousas Catholic, traveling to Morgan City to take on number 2, Central Catholic. I'm going with Central Catholic. VK.
Pretty much the same there. It'll be Central Catholic. I think it'll be big over Opelousas Catholic. Good run for Opelousas Catholic. You know, they very impressive, scoring 54 over St. Edmund. But Central Catholic has been building this program for a while, and now really the beacon of light in that Morgan City area. And it's been a while since a team out of that area has come up since Patterson and Kenny Hill. You got to the Dome and Morgan City getting in the playoffs long time ago with Ed Dangerfield. They used to play for LSU. So this is a big time beacon of light for the Morgan City area. So Central Catholic with the win.
All right. George?
I'm gonna take Central Catholic as well. I mean, Opelousas Catholic's had a good run of things. I just Central Catholic wins, and that's going to be an interesting potential quarterfinal if seeds hold with Riverside on the other side of that bracket. If that matchup happens, you talk about a very interesting quarterfinal. I'm going to take Central Catholic to handle business though, and an interesting affair early, but CC's got too much. They'll get it done.
All right. Everyone, we thank y'all for tuning in. VK, any last words?
Well, you know, it was a good show tonight. We discussed a lot of things and everything. Some interesting scenarios is going to be going down this weekend, and yeah, I guess Reggie's going to be at that game at 4:30, which is going to tailgate or something. You better hope they have a plate for you if they do have one for you. You know, that's all I'm gonna tell you on that. But yeah, but yeah, you're right, Reggie. We'll see what happens with the game Friday. But tune in tomorrow. We got the Max Prep Southeast Louisiana game of the week. Archbishop Hannon against John F. Kennedy at Pan Am Stadium. That'll be a 7 o'clock start. We'll be on the air at 6:40 for a pregame. And with myself, Jamal Greenbarrel will be calling the game. Jared JB Boy will be our guest analyst for pregame and for halftime. So, you know, looking forward to having you tomorrow, Jared, and tune in tomorrow. I'm going to put up the link as soon as we get off air on Facebook and also on Instagram and Twitter. So tune in tomorrow. We want big numbers. We want y'all to tune in for this interesting matchup. Can't wait for it.
George Peppers.
Before we go, we're doing a show next week, right? Because I know Thanksgiving's next Thursday. But we're doing a
Yes.
show next week. Okay, good.
You will.
But I do want to close. I know it's been a couple of days, but our thoughts. I'm going to speak on behalf of all three of us. Our thoughts, prayers, and condolences go out to the University of Virginia and
Definitely.
all those connected to that horrific, senseless tragedy that happened a few days ago. Just know that our thoughts and prayers and our condolences go out to the families that lost loved ones in this senseless attack. Um, that being said, I mean, it's another great show that we've put together tonight. You get to see Hank Tierney's interview, but Jared's interview with Hank Tierney, and it's not a PSA. It's a good interview. I'm sure it's a good interview. Hank is very resolute and very open. Look forward to that. And VK, have a good call tomorrow night on your game with Hannon at JFK, and I know you and Jamal and Jared are going to knock it out the park. I have an unexpected day off Friday, so gonna figure something out here. As far as do I make the short trip to Shaw? I don't know yet. I don't know. If maybe I'll get an invite from you, Mr. Boyd, to the Jubilee. So we'll see. But on that note, gentlemen, you have a blessed night, and we're gonna do this again on Thanksgiving Eve next week.
Well, not Thanksgiving Eve. I will be on the road to Lake Charles, so we can do this.
Okay.
We can do this Tuesday.
That
Next
works.
Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we'll do all divisions, both of them, non-select and select. We'll do all the quarterfinal matchups next Tuesday.
And might have a special guest as well. So
That's
we'll
right.
definitely let you know on that the next week because there are going to be some interesting matchups next week in the
Yes.
quarterfinals. And I can't wait to see. But we'll see what happens this week in the second round. See how things shake up from there. But it's good to be here, and I tell you, big like I said once again, big shout out to T.H. Harris Middle School, especially with the boys and girls that we ended our season tonight, and hopefully we make the postseason. Just waiting on some news on that one, but we'll
There
see
you
y'all
go.
guys next week. Cannot wait.
Like I said, for those who want to see the interview with Coach Hank Tierney, right there at the bottom in the blue, that's my YouTube page, JB Your Sports Guy. Also, if you're friends with me on Facebook, you ain't gotta be friends with me because it's public. Jared JB Boyd, you can see it. And if you're part of any of the Archbishop Shaw Facebook pages, you can see it on there as well. Other than that, for my good friend George Peppers, my good friend Sean VK Jones, I'm JB Your Sports Guy. Next Tuesday, we'll be back. Tune in. Take it easy.